Gaara vs Rock Lee is considered to be one of the most iconic fights in anime history. I personally consider it the David and Goliath of a fight because of the way it transformed my perspective of anime and made me a fan of the medium for everything that it is. But why, after seeing so many fights, do we still consider this one so iconic? What does this bring to the table that others don't? This video is aimed at explaining why it has such a memorable impact on anyone who decides to watch the Naruto series. So, let's dissect the fight, shall we? Naruto begins as a very mild anime with nothing too shocking and nail-biting. This relatively linear storyline takes a very dark turn with the introduction of characters like Zabuza Momochi and Haku. The way the Demon of the Mist lived, fought, and died is forever entrenched in my memory as the first instance that I started to like Naruto. But what really cemented the place of Naruto in my mind was by far the introduction of Gaara, the Sand Shinobi. When he was first introduced, Gaara was the personification of pure evil, an overly powerful young man manipulating sand and feeling no remorse for the people he kills. We see this evil in the purest form during the second stage of the Chunin exams arc. Gaara takes down everyone who comes in his path, going so far as to be willing to kill his own comrades, Temari and Kankuro. There are no morals to the man. When the third stage of the Chunin exams come, you tend to feel that this Gaara character can only be defeated by pure chance or by someone who is equally as powerful as him. During that phase of the series, the only young shinobi who was powerful enough to do that was Sasuke Uchiha, which he did later on. But considering how powerful Gaara was at the time, even Sasuke fighting against him and winning would have been a stretch. But in the midst of all that, we tend to forget that there was one kid lurking in the shadows, one who even got the jump on Sasuke. Whenever I think about the word underdog, I always think about the 2006 WWE Royal Rumble match, in which Rey Mysterio, the short-heighted wrestler, won against 30 men in the same ring for the title. For wrestling fans in general, Rey's the prime example of the underdog who surprises everyone with his ability to defy the odds. The point being is that we love the underdogs, whether it's the WWE or anime. Back to Naruto. From everything we've seen till then, we knew Rock Lee was the underdog, considering how everyone around him was extremely talented. Yes, while he did manage to get a jump on Sasuke, we didn't really get to see the full breadth of his ability. He was always overshadowed by the likes of pure talents like Neji and the guy he got the jump on, of course. Also, with his childish and funny antics till that point of the series, it becomes hard for us to regard Rock Lee as a worthy adversary to the likes of Gaara. In retrospect, you might think that the Sasuke vs Rock Lee skirmish was an indication of his abilities. I agree with that, but considering how the linear storyline has too many elements going around for us to properly focus on each individual character, I can say for myself that I didn't regard him as an equivalent or much of a powerful fighter. But boy was I wrong. The fight between Gaara and Rock Lee is a nail-biting event from start to finish. Up until that point, the Naruto storyline was very much straightforward and the Chunin exams were very much a part of that. The fights in the second stage of the Chunin exams were relatively normal. The only exception to that fact was Shino Aburame, the young shinobi, put up a strong fight against Zaku Abumi. Besides that, things were relatively straight-laced. Even if we look at the fight between Kiba and Naruto, we don't see much of a surprise since Kiba, while he was strong, was a fair matchup with the likes of Naruto. Rock Lee vs Gaara came to everyone's surprise. No one expected things to happen the way they did. There were no assumptions, just a nail-biting tension. Of course, when the dust settled, we realized what kind of a mountain Rock Lee proved out to be against Gaara, who was himself perturbed by Lee. Although we did root for the underdog to win, the fight didn't pan out the way it did. However, we got to see one of the most iconic fights ever to have graced the anime sphere. It was after this point in the series when we realized what kind of monster Rock Lee was and how well Musashi Kishimoto wrote him out to be. Of course, I won't discuss how much Kishimoto wasted down Rock Lee's character afterwards. Sometimes I feel that Kishimoto did enough, but I also feel that his role could be further expanded a bit. Of course, it's Naruto, so let the titular character take the stage. What's done is done, no backsies. Staying within the context of Naruto, the Rock Lee fight came as a surprise and showed us that being born with talent or special superhuman abilities doesn't matter. What matters is how much you train yourself to defy the odds. whether it's mental or physical odds. The notion of the undefeated villain would again be challenged by Kishimoto when Might Guy takes on Madara Uchiha, the latter of whom escapes within an inch of his life from Guy's attacks. Growing up in the 2000s, I watched Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, and many other anime series airing on television, specifically Cartoon Network's Toonami. When I finally did get an internet connection and started to stream Naruto on the recommendation of a friend, I hadn't had much of a touch with anime. It was only after I started the series and saw this fight that I had an appreciation of anime as an art form. I'm sure the same goes for most of you guys who grew up on the anime that aired during that same period. Let me know in the comments, and I hope you liked this little piece of nostalgia. If you did, be sure to like the video and just subscribe to my channel. Thank you.